The robot.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Midnight
We're
Talk
live! What's up, everyone?
Welcome back to the Midnight Talk Cafe podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon, and joining me are my other hosts, Michael and Ivan.
Hello, my name is Michael, and I get to laugh at all the piss babies. These who are like dying defending Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm Ivan, and I'm so excited.
Yay.
Get
that's
fucked,
good
you
enthusiasm.
cyber nerds.
Not far off.
Get fucked, you turbo nerds. Eat shit.
Okay. First, let's cover Game Awards because we can, I think, pretty
Hose
rapid fire
bad.
a couple of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
there's-
bad. I can't
People are
believe
mad
this.
at everything.
I can't believe they
let's
did it.
start with some good stuff. We're gonna kind of go chronologically in a sense. So best score, like the show started off, best score in music, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I personally agree with this. Like the other ones in there had some really good music, but my god, the remixes of just the songs and just the way they played out were so fucking amazing. I love the soundtrack to this game so much.
That's a fair award. For my
Ivan?
money, at least.
I don't know any of the awards that won because I did not care the slightest.
Okay.
Pull up a fucking list, then. I have a list, goddammit. I didn't even watch it in person.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is hard to watch in person when the world is covered in Corona. But
You know what I mean. I had work to do. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, that's a solid reward. Doom Eternal is really good, but if you're not into heavy metal, then you're not gonna have the best of times.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's really well made heavy metal.
oh,
It
are we
is
doing
good.
the actual? I thought we were doing the port and stuff for the Game Award, which is just a Smash
We're
trailer.
doing the
And
Game
the Among
Awards.
Us. Oh. Wow.
There are a number of things to be talked about regarding the Game Awards.
Yes. Many
Yeah.
things.
Like Smash.
Oh, we'll
And
get
Among
to
Us.
Smash.
We'll get to Smash.
Among
We're gonna
Us.
try to go. We're gonna try to go in order, okay?
hmm
So
The
next
Game
up was
Awards.
Devolver Digital with their joke 2020, not joke, but the fucking 2021 award with Loop Hero, I believe, won this one if I recall. Again, that was just Devolver being Devolver. Then there was a trailer for this game called Taicha, TCHIA. It has a mix of from what I can recall from the trailer, some Breath of the Wild mixed in with it looks like Moana Breath of the Wild. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean it looks nice.
So, Breath of the Wind Waker.
Yeah. Best action adventure for this category, Last of Us Part 2 won.
This is going to be the start of a recurring trend, and I will say, as much as I'd be inclined to make jokes about this award, the action-adventure genre as a whole is such a nothing void of design that it's an insult to the quality of any game to be placed there.
Yeah.
So, that's
Bitch, you
either
could've
that's
just said
neither
you don't care.
that's neither here nor there.
Let's see. We have afterwards we had Sea of Solitude director's cut. I don't remember the studio that makes this, but I will say the art style actually did very intrigue me a lot throughout the time that this was playing. So if I
Alright.
like a lot of these games intrigue me. One I'm definitely going to consider buying, but it's just a money situation at that point. Did any of you guys see the Sea of Solitude director cut trailer as well or no?
No.
Hold up, I did not.
Okay, so we can move on. There's another
I will
game.
tell you, I think as much as the Game Awards I actually saw, because I mean I was with, our friends during the
Sea of
co-
Solitude looks like Abzu mixed with Wind Waker,
Nice.
and no, I was not there.
Shady Part of Me is another game. Looking at some of from the trailer again. There's a game I can't recall the name of the life of me of this game, but it has a very similar.
the Wild
vibe
West
to
one?
It. Shady Part of Me is the next game. Look, once again, interesting. Hopefully, I have money to buy it. Best family game. I remember I distinctly call it was Animal Crossing: New Horizons. Even though I'm a Crash fan, but it makes sense that
Like if Animal Crossing wasn't going to win any other award, it was going to win this one.
yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I would consider that like way more like a family game than Crash Bandicoot, or out of any of them, to be honest.
True. Best community support. Easy winner was Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Even though the game like it dropped off in the sense of people stopped uploading the footage about it on YouTube, the fact is that Twitter handled business like no other, and they did phenomenally.
Lest we never forget Cheater Island.
Cheater Island. Yeah, that was a thing. Oh my god.
Someone finally did it. They invented the Dark Olympics.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the Dark Tournament!
Oh
It
my
is the Dark
God.
Tournament.
It's the Dark Tournament arc! Let's go!
Let's see. The next one was best debut game, which I don't know I don't remember
What game?
studio,
What game category?
best debut. I don't remember the studio behind
Debut.
it. But it was Phasmophobia that won
Yes.
for best debut game. I mean, from what I've seen, people love it, and I'm not gonna lie. Look, it does look pretty fun. I'm too much of a bitch to play it myself because I don't play horror games.
Well, you could just
I
run
just
around
thought-
inside a house and start calling any ghosts within the vicinity a bitch. That's always fun.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's at the bottom. It's weird.
Let's see. The next title, it's called Myst VR. While intriguing,
Yes, it's basically the old Myst game, but in VR.
yeah, it's just it's limited to VR, which is weird to say, but it's a money situation unless you can afford to get a console like a VR set like the Oculus or
Let me-
Quest.
I'm going to put it like this. The reason the first Myst sold so well was because it was frequently used as a benchmark by people who were buying Pentiums in order to test a CD drive to see how well it worked. Now, part of that was based on the game's merit, but frequently re-releases of Myst would kind of be dunked on for being an insanely primitive adventure game. And by adventure game, I mean in like the style of LucasArts and Sierra adventure games. So, who knows how much mileage this one will get? Hopefully they'll do cool stuff. But I should remind you that the only reason it sold so well was because it was a benchmark tool, and even then, it was for a piece of technology that would become very, very frequently seen in the household in many forms, in the form of a desktop computer with a CD drive. So,
Yeah.
some
Next.
context.
That was heavy context. Wow, I did not know that context. Dude, you are an encyclopedia when it comes to this type of shit.
Yeah, man,
I am
dude,
a
I didn't
flight
even know this
encycl-
game existed.
I know a non-zero amount of things about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I know an approximate amount of a good number of things
Exactly.
that exist in this small part of the universe.
You know what?
Precisely.
Let's go into something that we all have knowledge about to varying degrees, just like we do right now. Persona 5 Strikers, but it's the musical. However, you two know way more about Strikers than I do. While I like Persona 5, and I did get Royal, at the end of the day, it's I'm not invested enough into the 5 property itself to go for the game when it comes out here. However, the music.
I mean, it's just like a hack and slash game. You don't really have to.
It's Hyrule Warriors by way of Persona 5.
Yeah, like if you're expecting to go into this and be like, oh, it's gonna be an extremely long RPG game or like just an extremely long story, it's gonna be like relatively short.
Oh no!
It's- Most of the length of those games comes from like being intensely replayable and having like massive end games.
And
That makes
it
sense.
looks like a really stylized and fun hack and slash at least. So
Like, I'm not gonna lie,
I
even
will-
though I played sorry, I just want to say this. Even though I played the story like basically twice, once in the vanilla and then the second time in the royal version, I just looking at the casts, I haven't even played or seen the anime for it. but I like the cast of 4 more. And that's somebody who's played 5 twice. It's like just I don't know, like I like the designs more. I don't know, like just the way they look and just feel, just based off of like clips I've seen and stuff like that. Whereas like this crew, while enjoyable, it's like not like the end all be all for me personally. I'm sorry.
I can kind of
To be
feel
fair,
that.
The best characters for P5 are like characters that really aren't in the group.
Mhm.
You
And
know,
then there's
like,
Mainly being
when
like
it comes to
really
the core-
catchy.
And when it comes, can you still hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay, and when it comes to the core party, it's like, you know how there's a certain endgame character in Persona 5 regular who doesn't really get the time to be as well integrated into the group before the plot starts kicking in?
Even,
Persona-
even afterward. Go ahead.
The Persona 4 equivalent, because there is an equivalent to this character in Persona 4, but the thing is, this character comes in at like the character in P5 comes in at the like the 3/4 mark, maybe 4/5. The character in P4 comes in like midway through. She's like the 2/3 character, and the last third is still massive enough for her to be well defined. And even then, she was integrated into the plot as far as like the end of the end of the first third.
And then we go back to P5. This character that we're talking about, that's like 3/4. He's like you get to use said character for a set amount of time, and then he's gone. And then the only time you get to
Not even that. No, not that character. Before that character.
Oh no, he's talking about Haru.
I don't want to say it for spoilers, but given that you only find out her name once she
no,
becomes
we're talking about
relevant, then who
Persona.
fucking cares?
Yeah, if we're talking about Persona, we can only be vague enough.
Mhm.
Especially when certain people aren't picking up the hints.
Sorry.
Now,
Sorry.
granted, it is a reasonable mistake because the two characters in question are fairly comparable. That being said,
I mean,
the one in Persona 4 develops a rapport with the whole group, whereas the one in P5 develops a slight animosity and very little more. And he only gets a complex relationship with you.
Yeah, and with no one else. Like he sees everybody else as less. It's just like you guys aren't even worth my time. But you know, we have to.
but like it's so good.
We do have. Yeah,
it's
we do
so
have to
well
move on.
executed.
I know, but we have to move on. So next up, if I recall correctly, let's see. Yeah, so long title coming, by the way. Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ...
It plays like a fucking video game!
You're the Nier.
good!
Was that another announcement during the Game
It was a
Awards?
gameplay trailer, and it actually looks
Oh,
good.
was it?
Yes, they showed off a bunch of the old spells from the first Nier game, and it all worked out. It all looks good. They're making it. It's a good remake. It actually.
It's an actual remake.
It's an actual remake, and it's looking good. It plays like a video game now, which means that if they kept the plot the same, or even if they changed the plot but had Yoko Taro at the helm, it's going to turn out good.
Like, I wanted to ask, is it like a remake they built everything back from scratch, or is it a remake as in like they just started?
So I think what he's asking, are we talking Blue Point or Square Enix's
I
Final
know.
Fantasy 7
I
in
know.
terms of like upgrades?
It's Blue Point in the context that they rebuilt it from scratch, but the better analog is Kingdom Hearts 1.5
Okay.
because it's just rebuilding it from scratch to have it look good on newer hardware. But otherwise, it is like 1-to-1,
All right, that's good. That's good.
and it's a very good sign, considering that like the music was audibly untouched between the remake and this, or the past game, or the original game and the remake, and that was done because it did not need to be touched. So that's pretty
Cool.
indicative.
I mean, damn. Not gonna lie, that's Jesus. Here,
Go
I'll
play Near Replicant when it comes out. It'll be in
Do
April.
it. Buy it. Support Yokotaro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
After that, there
Follow him on
was-
Twitter. He posts food.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we gotta keep going. After that, it was basically VR, like full body VTuber music concert for a little bit. Then after that, we have the esports
What?
awards. Yeah, it was there's a
Live. Project Melody. Oh no.
like it's We Are
Oh,
OFK. is what
no.
no, it's We Are OFK is the name of these guys. But then esports awards. Do you guys want to cover esports awards quickly again?
No, I'm good.
Never.
Okay, let's skip it.
Because my
So-
response to all of those would be, "Who are these people?"
Yeah. So then there was another game announcement came out called Century Age of Ashes. I think this is the one where you ride dragons around on like their backs and stuff.
Oh, I didn't get to see this either.
Where else would you ride the dragons?
That's true, Ivan. Where else?
Answer the question.
Depends on what the dragons look like. My
Very good
may
answer,
vary.
Ivan. Very
My
good
answer
answer.
may
Ivan.
vary. Hey, I'm sorry. I mean, you play. Oh, you haven't played D&D far enough. I mean, come on, dude. Dragons use polymorph.
Who needs a dragon using polymorph when you can just have the dragon?
And you could just be the bard. Thank you.
And this
But I
reason
think-
alone is why Rune Factory 4 is the best dating sim.
And everyone knows that the fact that if you're a bard, you have to have no pants at all time.
It's the rule.
Because putting back pants is actually a waste of time.
Okay.
Anyway.
But now the main show began, and we started off with such a huge bang.
Yeah,
Let's
dude,
just say
Among Us.
Sephiroth in Smash.
We're just gonna talk about it, huh?
Yeah, that's where. Like,
Okay,
Mario
I wanted to
died.
ask, yeah. I really wish they went all the way and actually killed him, but they didn't do it this time.
They did it
Like
to
they did
Luigi.
with-
They might as well do it
They
to
did it-
Mario.
They did it to Mario like 300 times. I don't know why they didn't go the full way with this one too.
Yeah, really killed Mario.
Yeah, really killed Mario straight up
I'm
down
not
to
gonna.
the chest.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. When the trailer started, I was thinking either one of two characters. Like one character I didn't really care for, the other one I really wanted. So I really wanted Dante. The other one I thought it was gonna be Sora. And then I see the World of Light.
No.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be Dante, possibly. But then you see it cut in half. You're like, wait, what could cut the World
No.
of Light in half? And then the notes
Virgil.
kicked in.
No,
I was thinking that
no,
would've
that's
been
what I was
sick.
thinking. I was gonna ask, what do you think? When you were watching the trailer, who do you think what it was? Because when I saw the slash, I was like, oh fuck, that's a character with a sword. Who does slashes? Is super cool and Mario can probably kick a god like ass. Dante.
Virgil.
No,
I
I
like
thought
Dante over
Virgil
And
even
then the
has a
music
katana.
came in, I'm like, oh wait,
I thought
wait,
Dante
they're
at
streaming on
first.
cloud.
However, I was thinking Dante at first.
The
However,
notes.
as soon as I heard the notes kick in, I'm like, it's Sephiroth.
Yeah.
It didn't click for
That's
me
pretty
because
cool.
I couldn't hear the audio at first because I was talking with a bunch of other people. But then they zoomed in on cloud. I'm like, oh fuck, they actually did it.
2 songs, you say? I'll give you a new song.
This fan art of like Minecraft Steve versus Sephiroth. There's so
Yeah.
much shit. Like, you guys know Kingdom Hearts. Remember that moment in Kingdom
Mhm.
Hearts 2 where they basically clash
Yeah,
and
I posted
disappear?
that video.
You've seen that, right? Where people are like, oh, so
Yes.
this is where they went.
They went off.
Round 2,
They
dick hit.
just
Round
smashed.
2, dick lips square up.
They left.
Or I
Kingdom
guess
Hearts
round
to
3
go
at that
Smash.
point.
Oh, and ironically enough, dude,
Dude, his like
freaking,
part of his like
Machine of Bridge.
angelic form is based off of his one-winged stuff in Kingdom Hearts.
I know.
No, but also talking about Sephiroth. Real quickly, Machine of Bridge finished.
Yes, that too.
Yes. and
What a
that
time
Like,
for that
literally
to
a day
finish.
after Sephiroth got announced, I'm like,
was- I love the moment.
Magnificent.
To Mission of Bridge, quick moment. I like the fact that like they didn't actually bang under the high wind. However, Red 13 in his gloriousness, like as they're having their just moment, he was like, "Are you guys gonna fuck?"
are you gonna fuck? I can really hear the taka in there. And that's what makes it better.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, but like some small, like a small moment in the trailer that I hope you guys picked up. How do you guys feel about Zelda? If you guys know what I mean in this trailer.
In what sense?
Okay, so you didn't pick up on it. So there's a little scene that happens before, like his.
Oh,
one-
you mean
his
the
one
bit where
wing
he?
pop up?
You mean the bit where
Oh yeah,
Sephiroth does what is clearly a down splash, and Zelda is in the same position as a certain character?
Yeah, but he misses this time.
Hmm. I feel
like-
like there are going to be fans making an entire conspiracy theory about how this scene in Smash Brothers ties into the next game in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Imagine
No,
if it
it's gonna
does,
tie
though.
into Final Fantasy, and then it's gonna tie into actually how Kingdom Hearts the next game series is gonna be like.
But no, like
Where'd
imagine,
Aerith
though, if
go?
it does,
Oh.
uh,
Oh.
she got
Kingdom
reincarnated
Hearts.
as a princess. Like no, guys.
He got turned into a
reincarnated-
nobody in a Heartless.
Oh my god. No, but like, okay, here's the thing. She got reincarnated into a princess that can never die. Like, okay, but
What
we
is
need-
your
we need
power
to
as a Princess of Hearts? Royal Guard.
No, I think it was funny, very like return to zero.
keep- Oh my
Every time I
God.
die, I just go back in time.
Oh my god.
Oh,
okay,
god
so
damn it.
Okay, but okay, next we have to keep moving. Next thing, best performance went to Laura Bailey for playing Abby in The Last of Us. Now, while
Again,
we
part
can
of a
say-
trend.
people-
I will not comment no further.
People can say
Let's
what they want.
I,
Laura Bailey, really nice, very nice person, great voice actor. She did a good job. While people don't like the character, you can't deny that she put in a lot of effort into playing the character.
Let's see, let me just check the other.
I actually
Yeah,
don't
there
remember
is.
who else was competing in that one.
So we have
Yeah,
Laura
'cause I'm like,
Bailey as
um,
Abby, Ashley
Ashley
Johnson as
Johnson.
Ellie,
Ellie,
Daisuke Tsuji
Okay.
as Jin from Ghost of Tsushima, Logan Cunningham as Hades from Hades, which I'd put Zagreus first, but whatever, and Naji Taterm for Miles Morales. Of the performances that you put here, I would say that they were all good performances, honestly. So
yeah.
fucking take your pick.
To be honest, none of them really go out and made me think like, oh, this one was clearly better. Like they're all like
Yeah, I'm not-
around the same.
I'm not seeing any standout ones in terms of like anyone that should be like, oh, this is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being like good performances.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah,
good
performance all around.
overall.
It could have gone to anyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah,
people are
it
gonna
probably
say
went
the
to-
narrative.
The more popular one.
People are gonna say it's the narrative of what happened this Game Awards, which we'll cover at the very end, but we'll get to that later. So the next thing that was announced, which was a trailer for a game series I never played, and I don't know how much you guys have played it or heard of it. Perfect Dark.
Oh yes, I forgot that they announced that. But yes, Perfect Dark is back, and with it the bold announcement that Microsoft is a quadruple A company now, which is fucking goofy.
Yeah, this is the company that bought Rare and made a Perfect Dark game, from what I was told a long time ago, and it wasn't good. And now they waited so long, and now they brought it back.
Yep, after the Rareware 50 collection, I think it was, they basically brought it back.
Oh, Arc 2?
What was that?
Arc 2, right?
Perfect Dark R2.
Oh, okay. I only heard of this game through other means.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
anything about it, so I'm gonna look into it a little bit on my own.
The most I know about it is the fact that this is the game that made the VTuber Kira Coco extremely popular.
Interesting.
Really? Perfect
Yeah.
Dark. Was the game she was
Uh,
playing a first-person shooter?
I think. Again, I just
Okay.
know that she was. I just know she was really excited and really good at a game called Arc.
I mean, the main character is called Joan Dark.
So I just know the game is named Arc. So if you're telling me there's a game called Arc and Arc 2,
Mhm.
Oh, Arc. No.
Arc.
No.
We'll get
Okay,
to
first
that.
up,
we'll get to that later.
Arc is a thing that comes up later. But first and foremost, you're thinking of like a survival game called Arc, not Perfect Dark.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what got me confused. 'Cause I remember seeing a thing that was talking about. Oh, Arc 2 came out. Kira Coco is gonna like freak
Okay.
out about this.
Exactly.
We're gonna get to that later, though.
We're gonna get
okay?
there in
So,
due time.
next-
Okay.
Okay, so we have to get to the next game. So the next game, it is definitely not Left 4 Dead because we don't have the rights, but it's Back 4 Blood.
Which company made this again?
Microsoft. I don't remember the specific
Ah.
company within it.
Okay.
What was the
That would
trailer
explain.
like? What
It's
What
like,
was
hey,
this?
it's like we couldn't get it from Steam from Valve, so we're just gonna make our own thing.
Oh,
Is
this
it a
survival game?
four-person survival horror game,
With
or
zombies.
survival shooter game that
With-
revolves around teamwork of 4 players and a revolutionary AI system
Yes.
based in at this point a licensed copy of the Source 2 engine?
Mhm.
Well, I don't know if it's in the Source 2 engine. I'm just making a presumption, but yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good to see it back.
Yeah.
Well-
I mean, it looks fun.
Wait,
Like,
what was the name of the game again?
Back 4 Blood.
Okay,
Back
no,
for Blood?
I thought you were talking about a thing that was going to come up later.
We're gonna get to that.
okay.
So, like, the next 3 things we can go over pretty quickly, which is a trailer for the game called Scavengers. Looks pretty
Mhm.
fun. Hood, Outlaws, and Legends looks like a mix of like Assassin's Creed and like a little bit of something else I can't recall off the top of my head. And then after that was a quick little trailer for Cyberpunk 2077 and Forza Horizon 4 crossover with the skin for the cars.
And
so, yeah.
boy, we're going to get to Cyberpunk at the end of the Game Awards, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna cover other things after the Game Awards, but those 3, I mean, if you guys want to talk about those seem interesting. Not much to say though. At the same time,
I
I
will
would say
reserve my
maybe-
thoughts for
Yeah.
Cyberpunk afterwards. That's
Oh
going to
boy,
be a
folks,
bit.
he's gearing up. He's charging up.
okay. So
I've
let me go to
encountered
next-
the anti-New Vegas. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, so the next thing was best ongoing game, and people were thinking Fortnite's most likely gonna win it, but actually the game that won. Okay, so
The best part.
Yeah,
The
nominees
best
Destiny
part.
2, No Man's Sky, Fortnite, Apex. No Man's Sky won, and the best, yeah, one of the best parts of
Yeah.
the Game Awards. Like he's drinking, I think it's like a bottle of vodka or some type of.
He's
beer.
drinking like a mixed drink, and like
Mhm.
even Sean Murray was shocked that No Man's Sky would win. That he got caught mid-sip, and he just like started shit posting about it on Twitter the next day, and it was immaculate.
Not only that, he's like,
What was the shitpost?
like, no, the
No,
thing
it's
is,
just like, can't you just let a man have his drink from the man who got the award and was caught drinking?
the best
Which-
thing though is that he even comments about it too. It's like, yeah, you and I most of the time, so I actually win it once. Oh god, that was actually pretty funny.
I'm
Though,
winning, Dad.
Look, to give the man credit, No Man's Sky has evolved since
Yeah, No
its
Man's-
launch.
I will say that No Man's Sky Next is pretty good. As a unique experience, No Man's Sky base game is also interesting. That being said, I can vibe with neither of these games despite putting neither iteration of this game, despite putting in a fair number of hours into them.
Mhm.
But that is just me.
Ivan?
It exists.
Okay then. Next up, we have a trailer for a game called The Castillo Protocol. I think one of the guys who worked on what's the franchise name, Dead Space, is working on this, and you can tell from the trailer vibes, like there's like horrible, like not horrible, like in bad, but it's like creepy looking
Monsters!
design, creatures. Like it seems like some type of prison type of scenario. You have the iconic greenish light that you would get from Dead Space, but it's not Dead Space. So overall, it looks pretty cool. Again, you guys haven't seen much of trailers, but if you have any comments, go ahead.
It
I
exists.
Okay.
It does indeed exist, and I'm glad people from Dead Space or from Pandemic are doing stuff.
Okay. Warhammer 40,000. They have a new
Yes.
trailer. For,
This is the game I was talking about in regards to Left 4 Dead. It is the
Uh,
It
spiritual.
exists.
It is essentially the 40k follow-up to Warhammer Fantasy's Vermintide games, which are essentially melee-oriented versions of like Left 4 Dead horde fighting gameplay. So if you're interested in the Left 4 Dead style co-op, look into the Vermintide games, and now 40k Darktide.
Ivan?
It exists.
Bow down to the power of Balthasar Gelt, you fucking shit. Or even better than
I wasn't
Necron.
interested in the game war enough where I could actually watch the entire thing.
Man. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, after that there was a bunch of awards that were announced. So best art direction goes to Tsushima. Actually, I agree with that. Art
That
in
makes
that game
sense.
is fucking insane. Best action game,
Hold on,
Hades. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
because I'm still
I
trying to
would,
find
yeah,
it.
that makes sense.
I'm still trying to find art direction.
Yeah, this listing is very weird.
I don't know about your listing.
There it is.
I don't know why I didn't list it in order.
Okay, of all those listed for art direction, I would agree with the Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best
I
action.
think Ghost of Tsushima was like probably sure in
Yeah.
because it's just so good.
Oh yeah, it's great. Best action game, you have Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4. This one went to Hades. I would say based on that gameplay alone, hell yes. Though Doom Eternal is a strong contender
Yeah.
for it.
It is a tough fight between Hades and Doom Eternal, and it could honestly go either way.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
we
thinking the
even
same thing too.
have a solid choice for one game that wins the next award, Half-Life Alyx, Best VR AR. It's like there's a no.
Correct. That's
It-
not a wise choice. That's
Revolutionized.
the correct choice.
Yeah.
It's just the right
That is
one.
the only choice.
Yeah, so then there's also best sports racing game, which we all agreed is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. No one wants to give anything to FIFA or NBA 2K. Or Doom.
Again, the only choice.
Yeah, again, skater games are actually surprisingly fun.
Oh yeah,
They're actually like really fun to play.
A small joke category that they have most anticipated Elden Ring. You cannot sedate the From Software fans. You give them Demon Souls.
Oh
It's
no,
like,
Todd Hawk got us
nice.
again.
Now we want Elden Ring.
why the fuck are we back in Lothric? George, this isn't even George R.R. Martin's idea. Why are we back in fucking Lordran? We're in Anor Londo again?
Can't we just let Elder Scrolls die?
Dark Souls, you tit.
Wow, I really tuned out.
Fucking idiot.
Wow, I really tuned out then.
Okay.
Boy, you really fucked that one in the face.
Next up,
Can we let Dark Souls die?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's more like it. And technically, no, you can't. It's literally undead.
Yeah,
We have a
I
couple
guess.
of-
Everyone's always like, this is the Dark Souls of whatever.
Oh my god.
This is the Dark Souls of light.
This is
I should have been the
Dark
one
Souls
to
of
fill your
Souls.
Dark Souls with light.
Okay. Okay. There's a couple of categories we can run through very quickly. So, trailer for another game called Open Roads. There's basically what they do is a showcase for people around the world, Latinx and gaming. So basically Latinos that play games. They have some small trailer for Valorant. Basically another battle royale. Looks pretty fun. Then Wooper Watch. They're just doing this thing with Pokemon. Then we get to something I feel like Michael can really discuss, unless you had anything you wanted to say about the earlier titles.
I got nothing.
Nope.
Ivan?
Nope.
Okay, so now we get to this one, which is something Michael can thoroughly cover, I believe. Disco Elysium, the final cut. Now
Yes!
voice acting.
Yes! Unlimited power!
So, how do you feel now you have the power of voice acting for every single line?
I'd like to thank communism for making this game exist. Just like the devs did last year. Just like the devs thanked communism last year too. They literally went on. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, they literally walked on stage at like whatever award they got, and it was just like, we'd like to thank all of our players for getting this. One of our biggest inspirations was Karl Marx.
Oh my god.
And like, there's even like an aspect that you can attach to your character that reflects that. Where basically like the big deal with Disco Elysium is that you can unlock new patterns of thought to attach to your detective man.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go through the game and gain experience, because this is a RPG where there is no combat, only speech, you power up in a sense that ideology, and the flavor text associated with it will evolve. So you can go. So as a cop, you can attach the advanced race theory mod and become George Zimmerman, or any other number of racist cops.
Jesus
And
Christ.
Oh boy.
alternatively, you can attach a thought process based off of a thinly veiled allegory for Marx. And part of it is just like as you go through with it, your cop man becomes more radical. Well, only for the final upgrade of it to be a disillusioned leftist who is tired of Marx and is looking for something, and is looking to enact a better structure of left-wing ideology. And that's kind of hilarious because that is like beat for beat the thought process of the developers in regards to their relation with politics and Marx.
Jesus Christ.
And
I did not know that.
There's like several things you can do to that. And I should note, 9 times out of 10, they are darkly hilarious.
Oh god.
Because the advanced race theory one can come to you as a result of you just like blindly clicking through choices without actually thinking through the implications of what you're saying. And the next thing you know, surprise! You've unlocked the ability to level up the racism perk. You've unlocked the ability to level up the hobo cop perk.
Oh my god.
You've unlocked the ability to level up the Dirty Harry cop perk. And so on and so forth. Disco Elysium is fantastic. Voice acting that whole thing is a massive endeavor worthy of another development cycle. And I'm very happy that it's happening, because not having voice work to aid with all that is one of the most damaging things that game has going against it.
But
and
now
even
it
then it's
does
great.
though.
And now it does, though. And
Okay.
while I'm at it, if you felt burnt out in regards to Cyberpunk 2077 as an RPG, this, alongside Shadowrun, is a good alternative.
So now,
Anyway,
yeah. Ivan.
Yeah?
Are you gonna say it exists? Do you have any other?
if you give it a basic exists after all I've said, I will kick your ass the next time I see you.
It is a game that has been hyped up, and it exists.
That's fair.
Okay.
You said more than it exists. You get to live for another day.
So we have 2 games to say next, just to cover pretty quickly. So one, well, let's see what Electronic Arts does with this. BioWare's coming back with Dragon Age.
Fear in my heart.
Yep.
Is that good fear or bad fear?
Yes.
Bitch, which one do you think?
Alright, so you fear.
Yes. Yes.
And that,
Then-
the only way that like good fear makes sense is if you're talking about like the first Fear game.
So this is bad fear, got it.
Bad fear.
Okay. It's bad fear. But
Bad fear
They
unless
can't-
Monolith Soft
Fuck
does
up
something.
another game.
It's bad fear unless Monolith Soft does something other than making another Shadow of Mordor game.
We'll get to that soon, in a sense. There's a game that gives off a little bit of that vibe. Then after that, Sega came out with another game. It seems like just to be an endless game, because it's called Endless Dungeon, basically.
Okay,
It's
so I can
the
give some
games
context
of
on
the
this.
time. Go ahead.
So this is the latest game in a series which is just called the Endless series, as in it is a series of games which all have the word endless in the title, regardless of whether or not they're a roguelike. The first one was a roguelike. The second one was like a space exploration / strategy game, and the third one was a more classic styled Civilization styled 4X game. And that's been their sort of grab bag for a while. They released the second Endless-based game a little bit ago. It was also quite good, and generally this series is really good. So, go play it.
Nice.
Tis good.
Then we have a title that really caught my interest, and I think maybe if you guys saw the trailer too, it might have caught your interest as well.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Crimson Desert.
No, you don't. I
No
know what
idea
you're
what-
talking about.
No
No,
idea
no
what
idea.
you're talking about.
No idea.
Okay, so basically this title, it, like, just based off of the combat, it has a little bit of Assassin's Creed, but it, like, I have like, from what I'm getting the feelings of this from this game, from the trailer alone, it gives off the feeling of Horizon Zero Dawn, in the sense of, like, this is gonna be a game that's gonna be amazing, and people might not give it enough of a chance. However, I do want to say, since you guys haven't seen it, that's all I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
it's
say
a
about
sequel
it.
to Black Desert.
Yes, it is,
Okay.
but not much there. Yeah, not much to say there. Next
Yeah,
Next award
it's
was,
not grabbing my attention.
next award went to Best Narrative, and
Oh boy.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about this a little bit because
This is the part where I open up a can of ass whooping.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's see. We have 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, very good contender. Final Fantasy VII Remake, my personal one I wanted to win. Ghost of Tsushima, one I would not have mind losing to, though I think 13 Sentinels should have won. Hades, and Last of Us Part 2. And Last of Us Part 2 won. Now, the reason I wanted 13 Sentinels to win, because it deserves it. Like, plain out, it deserves it. And the reason I thought the Game Awards would have done something along that line, because I forget which Game Award it was, but there was a Game Awards that had Disco Elysium, I think, be nominated for Best Narrative, and it won it. So I was thinking, like, if it could win, like, if Disco Elysium could win Best Narrative and people didn't know about it at the time, like, hopefully they would have played 13 Sentinels. Like I said, I would have preferred, like, my biased choice of Remake, but I would not mind losing to Ghost or 13, but Last of Us Part 2. Now, we're gonna have to go into the gauntlet for this one. The story in that, divisive is an understatement at best of times.
I will say that the story is basically conventional.
It's a good story. It's a decent story. I just feel like the other games on this list had a better story overall.
Yeah, my beef with The Last of Us 2 winning isn't that the story is bad or poorly told or undeserving. My beef is that, as far as stories go, this is every other game in here has, with the possible exception of Ghost of Tsushima, has done something far more interesting with storytelling in a video game. In particular, Remake having the opportunity to do a fucking, like, the equivalent of the Evangelion movies to Final Fantasy VII as a very interesting experiment with the storytelling of and the story of Final Fantasy VII. You have 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, making a really interesting visual novel. You have Hades incorporating a fucking social simulator with intricate character plots into a roguelike. And you have The Last of Us Part 2, who at most has unconventional pacing in its narrative. Which, as far as interesting narrative design, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, when it comes to it, 2 titles on this list, Last of Us and Ghost, you could do a TV series or you could do a movie based within, like, this type of realm, right?
That is
Other
what I
3
mean
titles-
by conventional.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I know,
point
I'm just
you
saying.
more. Yeah, is that, like, 13 Sentinels, Final Fantasy VII, Hades? These are, like, literal mechanics that, like, Final Fantasy VII. Yes, something very similar was done to this with a movie. That took several movies, whereas this game did it in one. And not only did it do it in one, it did to a franchise within this franchise.
Not only that,
Go ahead.
no, the issue isn't like what the franchise is. The issue is it's doing an experiment that is similar to what has been done in the movie, and that experiment resulted in one of the most interesting cases in that entire franchise, because it has taken a narrative and made it into, like, blended it with the meta narrative surrounding the story. So now you have a story collapsing in on itself, and the characters having to respond to a story caving in on itself. It's great.
Yeah.
And now you have hints of that. You have hints of that showing up in Final Fantasy VII Remake. So as a concept, that's fairly unexplored as far as movies go. So it is still pushing things in terms of narrative. It's fairly unique, even if it's not as intensively heavy on narrative design.
Yeah.
Whereas Ghost and Last of Us are good stories, they're just fairly conventional.
Ivan, you've been relatively silent. Do you have anything you want to add on?
That's also because,
I feel like that's something you can...
a good large of the time just skipped for me, indicates that I didn't blank out. It's more like your audio started skipping and starting to like robot for a second for a good long time.
Me,
So I just heard the tail end of that.
Michael.
All I could say is,
Can
What?
you hear us?
yeah, go ahead. You're coming out
Yeah,
fine.
you're saying all I can say is cut out.
All I can say is that's it.
Okay. So there's a lot of things that we can just blow through right here. So I'll just say them all quickly. After this, Swedish Chef is now in Overcooked 2. Awesome.
That's good. That's extremely good.
Ivan.
I don't know who Swedish Chef is.
It's a Muppet.
Oh,
It's a Muppet.
okay, that's neat. Oh wait, is that one with the weird looking mustache?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Now, we have a thing called Future Class. It's not a game. It's just about the community talking about things. You have Warframe / Unreal Tournament crossover. You have COD
Boomer
Black
Shooter,
Ops
Boomer
Cold
Shooter.
War. Yeah. Cold War getting season 1. You have Mario Bros. The 35th anniversary melody. Pretty nice. After that, Season, a new game. And then game for Impact. I think the game that won this was Tell Me Why. I feel bad. I just don't know enough about any of these games. Tell Me Why, If Found, Kentucky Road Zero, TV Vision,
am I
Spirit Fair, Darkest of Times.
Gamer at all?
What?
I honestly,
Repeat that, because I can't hear a goddamn
He
thing.
says if he's a gamer at all.
am I gamer at all, dude? Because I honestly don't know any of those names.
Kentucky Route Zero is a very good game. Spiritfarer looks very cute, and I've heard good things about Through the Darkest of Times.
It's
But
not.
I have
it's
literally
not, if you're
never
not a
heard
bad
of
gamer.
any
It's
of
just like games for Impact. I haven't heard games.
I've heard of Kentucky Route Zero because I follow some adventure game developers and a number of indies, and I heard it's Spiritfarer because I watched Nintendo Directs.
But after that, here's the thing that Ivan earlier with his VTuber crush. Arc 2. But not only Arc 2, guess what else you get in Arc 2? You get Vin Diesel.
You get Arc the animated series.
With a fucking loaded ass cast, might I say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'll only name people I actually know within the cast. So Gerald Butler, Jeffrey Wright, Michelle Yeoh, David Tennant, Carl Urban, Elliot Page, Russell Crowe, and Vin Diesel. Yes, there's names here I did not list. I'm sorry to these actors, I do not know you. But
Look,
like the
the
names
10th
I did
Doctor
say,
is in the Arc thing.
yeah. And the animation for the animated series obviously everybody compares it. Yes, it looks better than the actual CG trailer, but my god, like this animated show based on this video game looks so good. And that's the thing, right? We're finally getting good video game representation. People are saying, oh, it's not on the big screen, but it's like, hey, we have Castlevania.
Oh, if you want to talk
And now
about
we're getting-
fucking video games on the big screen, we can add another story to this real quick. At the end of this.
At the end of this,
Monster Hunter.
Yes.
I did not see the game. It was like the connection to like the game, right? That little.
No, I'm
Uh,
talking about the movie.
Okay,
just-
we can talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end. Okay, we'll save that. There's a lot of things to talk about after this because we can rush through the next ones. Fall Guys Season 3, Elite Dangerous Odyssey, another game called Checkpoint, Outriders, Fist. Oh yeah, Tom Holland and Nolan North presenting best multiplayer game, which Among Us won. And I will say, the three developers, very wholesome people. The girl started to cry in joy, cried tears of joy because she didn't expect the win. And I gotta say, she was very wholesome, and that was really nice. Anything you want
Yeah,
to say?
Inner Sloth is pretty good.
Yeah. Considering something else that I want to bring up later. Nothing interesting about the other earlier things. I mean, they're pretty cool, but like not much to say it for the matter for those. You have Evil Dead the game be announced. I mean, interesting. I never seen the Evil Dead movie, but from what I've been told, they're pretty cool.
My answer to that is, why are you going to bring back Evil Dead if you're not going to bring back Blood?
But then
My answer is, my god, finally my internet stops skipping.
God damn it.
we have Ghosts and Goblins coming back from Capcom.
The first
I've never
game
heard of
should
that game
stay
either.
dead. So Ghosts and Goblins was a decent arcade game, a decent computer game, and a really bad NES game. And for
Was
some
it
reason-
Ghosts and Goblins, I think?
It was Ghosts and Goblins, and then the sequel was Ghouls and Ghosts, and then there was a 3D one on the PlayStation 2 that I forget about. That starred somebody else entirely. Anyway, yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts, or the one on the NES was bad. The one on the Super Nintendo, pretty good. And now they have new one.
Mm-hmm. After that, we have there's a rapid amount of awards. Best indie game went to Hades. The other competition was Carrion, Fall Guys, Splunky 2, Spiritfarer. I mean, considering just the quality, all these games are quality, but Hades just blows them out of the water.
Mhm.
So that one wins. Best audio design, that went to The Last of Us Part 2. I will say the audio in that was pretty good. I'll go ahead.
It's like, it is baffling that you went up against the soundscape of a fucking Valve game and somehow won.
Yeah.
So
that's
So it begs the question of what the fuck is in that game in terms of audio.
true, especially because Valve's like VR experience with it as well to make it even more thing. As shit. Next one, my personal favorite, one of my personal favorites, best art role-playing game, went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. The other
Suck to
nominees-
Persona.
Yeah, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Well,
Eat shit, you fucking weebs.
yeah, the Weaves,
Wait,
the
who won?
Genshin, Final Fantasy VII Remake won category. Now, here's the thing.
Oh, okay. I'm sad.
I was watching a YouTuber who wanted Persona 5 Royal to win, and he was heavily disappointed when FF7 Remake won. However, that being said, he has not played the original. He wants to play the original first and then the remake. But it's like, in my personal head, it's like, look, Persona 5 Royal, it's basically an expansion with quality of life stuff, because the base game doesn't really change that much at all. Like you still have the same dungeons. You might have a new route to take, like a new little area, but it's still basically the same. So and it won best RPG, I believe, last time. So I think this time it's good to let another game take it, right?
Well, I guess my honest response would be, fuck both those games. They're weak. Yakuza Like a Dragon.
No,
That's
I
the
agree
real.
with you.
That's the real winner right
That is-
there. But you know what? I will gladly
That is the
take.
real winner right
I will.
here. I'm not
I
gonna-
will gladly
I'm not
take
gonna lie.
Final Fantasy. I will gladly take Final Fantasy VII winning if it means I get to rub shit in Persona fans' eyes.
Yes, I agree with you there. Okay, we had to keep going with it.
Not
Microsoft.
that everyone
Flight
agrees that Persona fans should be bullied.
Correct.
Sim- Yes.
They are the
deserve it.
perfect size to be shoved into lockers.
Let's see. Best simulation/strategy game. Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course. Let's
That's
see.
a reach. Honestly.
Yeah, player's voice. Basically, the game people said should win is Ghost of Tsushima because, of course, it would. People love the game as it is very good. I mean, gameplay that's great, story's good. Let's see, best.
No,
fighting
I'm sure.
game. I forgot.
I wanted to say that it was fucking ridiculous in Microsoft Flight Sim 1.
Oh,
Like,
Funny.
it is absolutely ridiculous. Why is it even there? It's the only thing that could be flat out called a simulation game.
yeah.
It's like in a category that would be, by the majority of the entrants in that category, a category for strategy games. What the fuck? How the fuck did the simulation game win in the strategy category?
Because they.
Why
don't
is it
know.
even a mix of the
I can't
two?
even.
I don't know, dude. I really don't know.
Man. To be
Okay,
fair,
so-
strategy games are just not even that great.
Play Desperados 3. Play Crusader Kings 3.
I mean, no, when I want a strategy game, I want a strategy game that makes me have to actually think.
Exactly. Which is
Like,
why you should
4
play a
hours on
4X
edge.
game. Or Desperados 3. Or fucking Crusader.
Yeah, yeah.
Crusaders 2? I think Crusaders 2.
We still have a lot to talk about after we finish the game. So best fighting game, MK11, because of course.
Fucking hilarious category.
Fucking
Yeah, I mean,
joke.
I'm not gonna lie though, it was fun seeing the Karate Kid himself present it. So then after that, they showed some stuff about Microsoft Flight Simulator. They showed Returnal, the game announced during the PS5 announcements. You have
Mhm.
Road 96. I remember this game being talked about. It was basically like, depending on your choices, things might change out later on. Then the guy who created what's the game name? A Way Out. It was like that co-op game that you needed to have.
Oh,
somebody.
those dudes.
Yeah, they made a new game that's less, about realistic prison escape and more like a more fantasy-esque game called It Takes Two.
So like a tale of two brothers.
Yeah, It Takes Two is basically a lot more fantasy-esque because it's a wife and a husband get turned into like these doll things, and they have to go through this like mystical, fantastical looking environment to basically not only fix their marriage but to get out of the situation. And it looks very wholesome, a very stark contrast to A Way Out in the sense, but in a good way. Like it shows
Yeah,
that these
Way
guys
Out is
have
actually
range.
like A Way Out is actually the odd one out in terms of their games at
Yeah,
this point, because they made Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and that game was also fantasy inspired, a wholesome journey of two brothers to save their dying father.
Yeah.
So
I mean, one of the reasons they blew up with A Way Out was
because A Way Out is fucking amazing.
It is amazing, but it's like people wouldn't have taken it seriously enough if that guy didn't say F the Oscars, and then people actually checked it out because of that guy. I'm not lying because I know people like this, and they're
Good
like, "Oh
shit.
wow, I'm gonna go to the back catalog."
Good
I'm
post.
like, "Oh wow, this guy with his one shit post caused his company, like the company he kind of works for, to get noticed even more." I'm like, "Hey,
Mhm.
good job."
Fuck
And
the
then,
Oscars.
let's-
Here's my new game at the video game Oscars.
yeah.
That's amusing.
Then Reggie, the former CEO of Nintendo USA, presented Innovation and Accessibility Award. Now, this one, I think
That-
everybody can agree does deserve to go to Last of Us Part 2. The
Yeah.
accessibility in this game, there's 60 plus options. If you want to get into it, Michael, go ahead.
So, if anything, there's a good place to start on this would be with the channel Game Maker's Toolkit. They've made a wide number of videos on accessibility, and they've made it a once-a-year tradition to examine the state of accessibility in video games. And their big winner was also Last of Us 2, because Last of Us 2 has a wide array of options, including a screen reader so fucking thorough in regards to everything happening on player, along with, and this is probably where the fact that Last of Us 2 won the audio design award came from, a soundscape so vivid that a certain member of the FGC, who is a blind fighting game, like professional fighting game player, was able to complete The Last of Us Part 2. A blind person could finish a single-player, fully 3D video game, which is something that this industry has been trying to actually do since the fucking, like, Sega Saturn. And the Dreamcast. So...
blind as in he can't see anything, or blind as
he cannot see jack or shit. He has been fighting... He has been able to win fighting games solely on the ground of being able to hear the fighting game and being able to distinguish what moves are coming towards him and what in the environment is near him. He is fucking blind, and he can beat the game.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, we'll say this for the other nominees: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, Watchdog, Legions. For Ubisoft's 2 games, look, they did try to put in some effort. I remember I did get Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I opened it. They did have accessibility features, and I was like, hey, it's good. This is a good step forward. But like, just comparatively, Last of Us Part 2 definitely takes that in stride to push that accessibility for the new people. I mean, look at Michael just said it all. And no matter what people feel about The Last of Us Part 2, this is something you just cannot take away from this. This is a deserved win.
Like, there's options for people who can see but have various impairments in that regard. People who have impairments with their hands or their body who can't do certain things. But I think the big illustrator is ultimately, if you are blind, you can play this video game.
Yeah, cause that's pretty impressive considering it. You know, you have to actively aim and do shit like that.
Yes.
I'm like thinking like, holy crap! From what the footage I've seen of the game, and being able to do that blind is actually incredible.
Yeah.
If you were telling me that's a game you complete blind, like completely, like that blind people are able to actually do it, I would be like, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly
but this
would
guy
not
is like,
believe you. I would think you're full of shit.
It's like you would be waving hands in front of this person's eyes, or doing anything that you can to try and make them flinch. And it's like they would just no-sell it because they can't see you doing it because they're fucking blind and they beat.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then I'm still thinking about, oh my god, I see footage on a game. How is that even possible?
And the answer is being able to mess with the various settings in your game to a point that you can have a clear grasp on what's happening in the environment, what's in your inventory, what you can do, and possibly some assistance from decent auto aim, but you still have to aim in their general direction, which still hard when you're fucking blind.
Yeah, no, I would say it's probably still hard to like completely actually make, you know, blind people to actually do it, but you know, enough for it to where they can actually complete the game. Probably for like, yeah, that's actually pretty incredible. That just makes me wonder. I actually kind of want to test that out myself.
Oh, it'll likely be a doozy.
Like, literally, just like, you know, blind run this game because I just want to see how it's like.
The thing with this guy of note. The thing with this guy of note is that like he has been blind for like I believe his whole life. So he's been playing games like that with blindness as just a part of how he plays. So he might have some level of adaptation to being able to perceive sounds or just environmental cues like that. but even then, there are options to aid with that. So who knows?
Yeah.
Blindfold
okay,
yourself and play Last of Us 2.
Yeah, like, I'm
so-
just really curious. I still can't imagine how that is.
Mm-hmm.
I
can't even begin to fathom.
I have to bum rush the rest of this list, or else we'll never get through this to talk about the other things.
Evil
So-
West.
So, Elder Scrolls Online, they talk about the Gates of Oblivion add-on. Best mobile game went to Among Us. I was hoping for Genshin, but I'm not. Look, because Puffball are such
I'm
a
not
wholesome team, wholesome team. I'm okay with it. Monster Hunter Rise. Then there's Troy Baker introducing one of the guys from Pearl Jam to play his song. Evil West, Scarlet Nexus.
Evil West. Let's go.
They're talking about Endeavor RX. I think is like their card. The new Among Us app. I do want to stop briefly. They basically, one of the guys who works on Puffball, Puffball himself, who works in Innersloth, he kind of basically was like, hey, let's use the Henry Stickmin map of like the giant airship. And this map.
I mean,
is
they've
huge.
even had like the diamond and the like no clip device in Among Us for ages. So.
Oh yeah. So then we have Content Creator of the Year, Valkyrae. We have Halo and The Walking Dead in Fortnite. Pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I like when the Master Chief like the Halo music started playing. I saw Master Chief like, oh shit! Like I'm not gonna lie, it actually got me excited. New Rocket League season. The new Rocket League season. Ruined King. League of Legends has a single player story. Now this Ruined King add-on. Keanu Reeves presents Best Game Direction. Went to Last of Us. Medal of Honor. Above
That's
and
a
Beyond.
failure of design, I will say.
Yeah,
Hades-
I'll agree with you.
Hades should have won Best Direction because no game that has crunched deserves to win direction because crunch is a failure of direction. That goes
Yeah.
for Doom Eternal, by the way, which is why I said Hades.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, seems right.
One big announcement before the Game of the Year, Mass Effect is coming back.
Oh, even more fear.
Yeah, and then
No one
Game
cares.
of the Year,
Let's go.
then Game of the Year went to Last of Us Part 2. So
No one cares. Let's go.
Okay, so
Too many,
what we're-
way too
so-
many people care. Let's go.
Yeah, way too many people.
No,
care.
I
So
want. Oh man, I'm sad because I wanted to
let's
talk about Evil
let's
West a
talk
little
about
bit.
other topics that we wanted to actually cover. So go ahead, 'cause I kind of forgot the topics what they were.
Okay, so Ivan, let's start with you. You said Evil West.
Yeah, dude, I mean, Evil West is the game that actually impressed me.
Let's see.
It actually drawed me in because it just looks like it looks like a Doom Eternal game.
Oh god, this looks like... I mentioned blood. The look of this protagonist yells like blood in the Wild West.
Yeah, I was seeing it. And I'm like, oh my god, are we getting like a vampire hunting game like set in the West? Like
Okay.
cowboy vampire hunters? Because that would have been cool.
Okay.
But apparently, it's
Flying
not
Wild
exclusive to
Hogs
vampires.
sounds familiar. But yeah, this motherfucker looks like Caleb in Sunlight from Blood.
So,
He's only
but-
missing like a red glow in his eye.
Yeah, so it really it piqued my interest. I kind of want to see where this game goes. It looks like it's
This
gonna be
man
a
looks like he
fun-
should have a fucking style meter.
No, yeah, right. I was kind of hoping he actually did. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, especially with the stuff he does.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
But yeah,
I
this
was
is
waiting
big-
for him to like show up with his hat like slightly slanted, and he has like glowing red eye or something.
Straight up, you are describing like Caleb, but as the Wild West. But yeah, this guy looks good. This trailer looks good. You know what? Actually,
It looks good.
no.
It looks like-
Not Blood. It is giving me big energy of a different game called Necrovision. And Necrovision is a really goofy World War I game where you gun down demons and use a gauntlet from hell to do magic.
You know what?
Anyway,
Dude, I'm totally down. I'm 100% down for this game.
oh, this looks like Necrovision but good. So I am
It
here for
looks
that.
super fun. I am done. I am 100% on board already, and I've only seen one trailer.
Both of you, I do say later, not now. Check out the trailer for Crimson Desert. It does look pretty good.
Okay.
but
I mean, I was watching it
um,
a little bit. It didn't. It's 5 minutes.
It's like I'm not
Yeah,
really
it's-
into
it's
Black
a
Desert,
5 minute,
so I'm not
and
going to care
this-
about Crimson one.
I mean, the problem is like, I was watching 30 minutes of it, and it just did not catch my attention. This took like 10 seconds, and it took my attention.
So anyway, if we're gonna carry on, then do you want to start with what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I think you should go.
Okie dokie.
Release
So
all that pent up energy.
So I'll start out with this. I'll start out with the short one. Monster Hunter came out in theaters, and it is rightfully bombing to shit.
Oh wait, the actual movie, the new movie came out.
The new movie is making the rounds, and it's like, let's see.
I thought it was delayed to like next year. I
How
didn't know
much did it make?
Movie.
Did it do worse than the
let's see.
Emoji Movie?
I seriously thought it was delayed.
Show times for Monster Hunter. Available on the 17th of December is the earliest date I see here. Anyway.
Monster.
Oh, yeah.
It says December 3rd.
IMDb 5.4 out of 10. So
How
Monster Hunter.
80% of people like this movie on Google.
Never trust Google
users.
user
Yeah,
reviews.
bullshit. Yeah, I never do. I never do. I
Yeah,
feel
user
bad.
user
I
reviews
feel
only
bad
come from
for-
people who care enough about the movie to either give it 1 star or 5 stars.
Look,
So
I feel bad for Tony Jaa and Ron Perlman for being in the movie.
yeah, you know who I feel bad about, and probably wouldn't normally feel bad about
What?
the Chinese movie market.
Oh, how bad?
One of the opening
Give me
gags
this
is a
ass
reference.
doctor.
One of the opening gags is a reference to the horrible child playground quote-unquote favorite of... You might have heard this line on Family Guy, so if you would like to cancel one Seth MacFarlane, please go ahead. This rhyme goes, Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees, look at these. And this gag revolves around one character palling around, and this character is in fact Chinese. And he pals around with this one army dude in a truck, and he just goes, "You want to know what knees these are? Chinese." And what reads as a stupid, poorly made pun of just like somewhat racist and also just bad pun in America got localized into an allusion to that horribly racist schoolyard fucking racism chant. And now and at that point many Chinese fans were far less than pleased, and the Chinese government stepped in and took it off of the market. And
Here's
the
the thing. He said like, hey, if you don't want these movies to like, you want me to keep making these movies, don't make them be successful. Well, guess what? We're following up on that.
Yeah, so the thing about, and the best part about this is, like, this is the kind of movie that is intended to make all of its money in more secondary ways to what you would traditionally expect a movie to make money through. So, like, if a movie bombs, there's still opportunities for it to make its money back. In particular, if not through the domestic market, if it's released in America, then either through the international market or being released as a licensed thing for TV channels who are looking to fill up ad space. Now, Monster Hunter was shooting for the international market, as many movies have in the past, like Transformers. You'll see a lot more, and arguably some Pacific Rim, I believe. You see a lot more China in some American or probably broadly Western movies, just to aid with appeal to that market. However, having your movie nuked from that market because you made the stupidest pun you could fucking imagine. A pun so bad it was like the racism contained within it managed to evolve into even worse racism. Like the worst Pokemon on the planet. Like fucking... Oh, I forget the name of it, but it's like, oh, this is a train wreck and this movie's going to die. This is going to kill W.S. Anderson's career.
Good.
He's
It's like-
also the guy who's been ruining video game adaptations for movies.
No,
Well,
that's
it's pretty
Uwe Boll. It's a tag team between this guy and Uwe Boll.
Good.
Yes,
one of
but
them is out.
Yeah.
We need the other one out,
now
so we
one-
can have
but now
good
one-
adaptations.
Yeah,
Well, it's
one
like
of them
that-
is gone.
Yeah, Uwe Boll is a human trash fire and deserves whatever suffering he earns. He deserves what he got. Anyway,
Look, I mean, because at this point in time, we actually have three technically, 4 decent adaptations for video game movies. Obviously, the best one everybody talks about, the OG Mortal Kombat in the '90s. Then there's Detective Pikachu and Sonic, which are actually really, decent. Like, oh, this will make me smile every now and then.
and a number of like far more enjoyable shows.
Oh yeah, once again, Castlevania is one of them.
Mhm.
Oh, God.
It's all a matter of
Castlevania.
how you do it.
I heard the DMC anime was pretty decent, though. The guys who are making Castlevania, they do want to do another DMC anime.
I've heard mixed things about DMC anime,
Hmm.
but I'm hopeful for
Um,
the new show if they're doing it.
I would love if like the people who did Castlevania did it.
Hmm.
It'd be great.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they could do a solid job.
That covers the movie side, which is fucking hilarious in that sense.
Right.
It is
So
more-
now
Yes.
you want to go on the long side?
It
Stuff?
is-
Yeah.
yeah, there was
The
yeah,
longer
there's the whole
story?
Disney- Guys, just a quick note. There's the Disney stuff. Yes, we know about the Disney stuff, but we're not going to cover that here today. Maybe the next podcast. But now let's go to the other stuff.
Mhm.
So, Michael, go ahead. I know you want to talk about CP 2077.
Yeah. So, on December 10th, this past week, Cyberpunk 2077 came out to public release. In the coming week to this release, reviewers were being given their review copies to explore. These review copies were, depending on your platform, turbo fucked. Essentially, they were bugged to hell and back. Now, I made a comparison earlier to New Vegas. Like, this is the anti-New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas is a fantastic video game, plagued with a wide assortment of bugs because it was kicked out the door way too early by its publisher in an attempt for ZeniMax to buy out Obsidian. It's an attempt which failed horribly for all parties, but at least Obsidian got to keep on going. And at least Fallout New Vegas was a fucking amazing game after some patches from both the devs and the fans. However, this is not the case for Cyberpunk 2077. It's a similar situation, but there's some stark differences. First and foremost, rather than devs being placed into a 14-month work cycle to try and make a miracle happen, the devs at CDPR were put into Death March. Death March is a unique phenomenon in crunch, wherein developers will crunch to a proposed release date, only for a delay to happen, at which point the crunch does not cease, but instead continues. This is known as Death March, and is frequently known for burning out the ever-living hell of any who suffer under it. You can see this in the progression of the lead on CDPR from Witcher 1 to Witcher 2 to Witcher 3 to CP 2077. It is brutal. In addition, many critics have been critical of things outside of the insane bugs, though I should note, if you're curious, go look up what Cyberpunk looks like unpatched on a PS4. It looks horrid. It looks shameful. It looks like to say that it looks like a PS2 game or a PS1 game is an insult to those consoles. It cannot handle the tech. It cannot handle the tech that it was going to be built for.
It seems like what they should have done is just made this an exclusive for next-gen consoles.
Yes, an exclusive to next-gen consoles, and exclusive to PCs where this thing is more permissible. A number of solutions, but you see, the thing is, they announced this game for years. It's been in the work for years, the entirety of this console cycle. They've had 7 years to comprehend the infrastructure of the lowest common denominator within the market. In this case, I believe it was the PS4, or at least in the primary market. And this isn't an unusual thing. This is what every third-party developer does. What they do when they make a game that is multi-platform.
Oh, did he cut out?
He cut out for me.
Do you want to tell him?
Okay.
You want to kick him out or tell him?
Okay. Sorry, everybody. We're having a little bit of a technical issue. Okay, so hopefully.
Every fucking time when I fucking speak, I swear to Christ.
No, okay. So you left off on it was pretty recent. I
think it was slightly after you were talking about how like they had like 7 years to determine something.
Yeah, they had 7 years to determine the base infrastructure of the PS4. This is a fairly typical thing to do if you're a third-party developer. You determine the strength of the lowest common denominator in the major console market, and from there you build for that, and then build it so that the infrastructure works on every other platform. Normally including the PC, but the PC can just have a more direct port, since you're going to be building this thing both like in part on a PC and on a dev kit. But that's relative company to company, essentially. Some companies will have to port to PC, which that's a whole thing. Anyway, the point is, they had 7 years to design for the console that they initially announced the game for. They took so long to make the video game that a new console was fucking announced, and the only reason anybody is pretending that anything that they have seen in the past week is acceptable is because of some absurd insistence that this game is actually intended for next-gen consoles, in spite of multiple years of the devs insisting that it is for the current console generation. In addition, people will assert that it's amazing that such a game can run on a 2013 console, neglecting two things. First, that these consoles received mid-generation upgrades around 2017-2018. And even further, neglecting the nature of the console cycle, which is that every third-party publisher has learned how to optimize for these platforms by this point in the console cycle. So they can squeeze far more out of the games that they make for them now than they could before. And Cyberpunk has clearly not done that. CDPR has clearly not done that. And the game, in terms of looks, is a trash fire. And the best part is that now, for the first time in ages, fans of the game the kind of weirdo who goes all in on defending a company who owes them nothing, who have been harassing critics, who have been taking down both the state of the game in terms of its tech and its poor writing, have actually been coming around and saying the people that we started to harass over this were actually right, and I feel bad about it. The game is so bad that they made the gamer piss babies actually reflect on what they've been doing. Which is a very rare and miraculous thing to happen, and it is it is a clear indicator of how turbo fucked 2077 is. I have yet to see a fan who has considered reasonable as a person, who has not turned viciously on this game. Be it somebody like Vinny from Vinesauce, going from literal gleeful giggles over seeing Keanu Reeves walk out on stage for 2077's announcement, only for him to release a compilation of some of the worst bugs he has seen in the game, including a description which reads, "I'm likely not going to get another PC key for a while, and I'm okay with that." So
they dragged Keanu Reeves' name through this mud.
They have done Keanu Reeves immensely dirty. And that's without getting to the transphobia, or the weird sex shit, or somebody having a circumcised penis cutting off romance options.
That one's just weird. Typically it's the other way around.
You'd think, but I guess the future is like
future likes it more.
The future looked at the ancient Jewish tradition of the bris and decided that actually we're not into that. And granted, many Jews aren't into that, but that's besides the point. The point is, Cyberpunk 2077 is a special train wreck in that many people have gone from like vehement defense to an absurd degree, which is fairly common in situations like this, to actually accepting that this game is kind of fucked. And that's kind of amazing. It's like, how bad do you have to be to overturn gamer piss baby rage? You need to be this bad.
The fat choke of the fattest chokes.
So
Never choked harder.
It seems like my decision to wait on the game it was the best decision I made.
You've chosen wisely. You have well and truly chosen wisely.
I guess my decision to simp for Guilty Gear was the
You
right
have
choice.
also chosen wisely.
Me waiting to get a PS5 just for Guilty Gear was the right choice.
You have made the wise choice. You get, as a reward for your patience, you get rollback netcode. As a reward for your patience, Brandon, you get to save $60 and spend it on something that's really enjoyable.
Gotcha.
You have chosen wisely.
Oh, you know it's really bad when he actually commends that. Commending Gotcha over an actual game.
Yes, at least the gacha game works. At least when you boot up the gacha game, when you click on a character, it doesn't bring up a stat screen, and instead of that character's picture, it would just say PNG not found. Unlike what you can occasionally see in Cyberpunk 2077.
Jesus Christ.
It
Boy,
is
this game is fucked.
turbo fucked.
It's more than turbo fucked based on what I'm hearing.
It's omega fucked.
How could they do this to Keanu?
I don't know how they could do this.
Because Keanu's so pure.
Keanu Reeves is far better than the game he's being featured in.
Of course, it's fucking Keanu Reeves. I mean, like
Keanu lived a hard life.
And yeah, that's my full energy for that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the trans stuff.
Well, no, that's part of it too. Basically, like what they did is that back when the advertising was going around, they featured art of a woman with a fucking. She was packing a full-on kielbasa. You could like see the damn thing. in one of the ads. And that read, frankly, correctly as a level of like fetishism for a trans body, which is kind of a like notorious thing where like weirdos on the internet will like hound down trans people because they are deeply horny for them.
Oh,
It's
me food
like- It's abundant. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, not that. The creeps who will actually like hound down the motherfuckers like that. Like the kind of creep who isn't just into that, but is vehemently and aggressively into that, to the point of being the kind of being like a nightmare stalker reply guy. And that's the kind of energy that evoked.
Oh boy.
So, naturally, CDPR decided, we kind of don't want this stink around our game. We'll make some gestures. And there's a few. There's one where in the default truck for your character, there is like a trans flag on the bumper, which as a gesture is pretty nice considering that there's no option to remove it, which means that angry gamers just have to deal with it. It's like the hose either endure or die mad. But the other one is character creation. And this is something that can be read as well-intentioned, but is ultimately still a clear indicator that you don't understand the kind of people you're working with here. And that's the ability to have customized genitals. Now, the genital customization system in character creation is fairly robust compared to other options. If you'll compare Cyberpunk 2077 to next to nothing outside of actual pornography, you'll see that compared to its competition, it's actually quite robust. Never mind the fact that there's like only one model of vagina, but like 15 different dicks.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
What?
Anyway. But it's like the options for so that yes they were. Anyway, the options for genitalia were they decided to have that be divorced from your character's gender. And instead of a traditional gender select, they have a pronoun select where you choose what pronouns your character will be referred to by. Which some games feature that, but not a lot, so that's still decently neat. Except the character's voice is bound to those pronouns. And the problem is, I've heard a trans person online refer to their voice as similar to that of Dr. Girlfriend from the Venture Brothers. And that this is definitely a voice of a woman. As in it belongs to a woman. But it sounds very masculine. And that is because not every trans person will go through voice training. So you'll just have some people who have deeper voices. You'll have trans men with higher voices. You'll have trans women with lower voices. And all sorts of variants in between. But that isn't reflected in Cyberpunk's voice selection. It's only deep voice for the he, him, high voice for the she, her. Any other situation? Eat shit.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure one thing.
Yes.
Dr. Girlfriend is the wife of the B guy, right?
Correct. She is the wife, I think girlfriend, of Dr. Monarch.
Alright, and she's the one with the deep voice.
Yes.
Her deep manly voice.
So yeah, it's like unquestionably a woman just has a deep voice.
Yeah.
And that's basically. That's the experience for a lot of trans women. That's the inverse, high voice, but unquestionably a man. is the experience for a lot of trans men. And honestly, that experience is somewhat quantifiable and like regardless of being cis or otherwise. But the point is like, boy, you kind of fucked the ball on that one. Not even screwed to pooch, you didn't take the ball home. You fucked the ball on that one. No dropping the ball either. You just fucked it. Oh, and one more thing that they thoroughly fucked.
One more!
Of course, there's one more.
Do you remember occasionally seeing seizure warnings on some Sony games?
Oh, yes,
like,
I heard about this.
I remember seeing a lot, at least on the PS3, a lot of like splash screens before even the adverts where it's just like, if you're sensitive to epileptic seizures, we'd recommend that you not play this game, and instead, or at the very least, play along with parental supervision or supervision of some kind. Cyberpunk 2077 features a VR headset sequence in which the character in the first-person video game straps a helmet to their face, and the helmet is based off of a machine that doctors use to test patients for the possibility of having epileptic seizures. Do you want to take a guess at what the headset in the video game can cause?
Epileptic seizures.
That just seems like a terrible idea. Why would
Correct. Do you want to know how people found out about the headset that can cause epileptic seizures?
How?
you got a seizure?
A journalist reviewing the game had an epileptic seizure.
Oh boy.
They were fine, but still, like she was still able to report it. She was okay afterwards, but that's still a fucking seizure. That's really bad. And like, not a lot of games are really good about this. The best for a while was just the warning up front. But even then, one of the big things with accessibility options is being able to dim things like that or slow those down to make sure you don't give people fucking seizures.
Oh, is that how you do it? You can dim it down?
A number of solutions where it's just like slow down the speed of the flashing lights or dim down the lights. It's a number of things, but that's part of it. But instead, they went for strap the device that is built to create epileptic seizures to the main character's face. And just hope for the best.
So is it just like a bunch of flashing lights, like of different colors, or?
Rapidly flashing lights of high contrast, high intensity, very fast.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's like, depending on how fast you can do it, it can be fairly effective at creating a seizure, because like it doesn't even have to be like so intense and so frequent that it can only be created by like a digital effect, because you could do it like an episode of Pokemon from the 90s was able to do
I
it.
heard about that.
So it doesn't take the most advanced tech to create a series of rapidly flashing lights capable of giving people seizures.
I just wasn't sure if it's like flashing like colors, or was it like something more than just that?
Tell you what, actually, I saw an example of like from an accessibility advisor on Twitter regarding a potential effect that can give people seizures. Look, if you're curious about it, there's the game called Bloodstained Circle of the Moon. Look up the Ghost Ship boss. Look up the Ghost Ship boss's desperation attack, and that would be an example of what they describe as not safe for epileptics. For anybody who has to deal with like photosensitive epilepsy. And it's just like a big, gigantic, screen-filling white laser contrasted against a black background. And it's
You
like,
mean Bloodstained Curse of the Moon?
yeah, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. But yeah, So this game,
I heard
this is
circle, and I wasn't sure if you actually said that or just.
I did say circle. I just got it wrong. It's supposed to be Curse of the Moon. I said Circle of the Moon because Castlevania. But
I
yeah,
heard. I was like, oh, I know what Bloodstain is. I wanted to try that game, but I've heard it's a terrible port on the Switch.
I don't know. The game's good. All the Bloodstained games are good actually at this point. But anyway. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that, until it gets patched to address that, can theoretically have a body count. There's a non-zero chance that it will do physical harm to somebody. And in fact, already has.
That
So that's it.
that's Ubo.
So yeah, that's about it for Cyberpunk. That's my load blown.
Quick side note.
He's all
I just
talking
saw
out, I
this-
guess.
I just saw this random thing on Twitter. After 51 years, the Zodiac Killer cipher has been solved by amateur code.
Oh yeah. I heard about this.
Oh, that's super good. That's
That's
really
fine.
good.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a typo in it.
Mhm.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, there's a typo in it.
That's great.
The kid did a typo. He was it misspelled paradise?
Oh, that's amazing. The only reason it couldn't be cracked was because the killer fucked up its own code.
I think it's
act-
because
You know what?
I think the word was paradise, and he used paradise a few times.
You know what? That might actually be the best encryption. Because at that point, not even you know what you're actually writing down.
Yeah, see,
It's
that's
like-
the thing. It's not a big brain pain. It's more like a stupid play that worked in his favor.
Oh, it's a stupid play. It is absolutely a stupid, unintentional play. It just happened to work in his favor.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a dumb play that worked in his favor.
hmm
So, yeah.
It's like the way of the drunken master. How can you predict what moves are coming if I don't even know what's going to happen?
That's true.
Such a fun class in D&D.
Indeed.
But I think this is a perfect place to end for tonight. Don't you guys think?
I'd say
Yeah.
so. We've managed to
I think this
we've
is-
managed to solve the cipher of the Zodiac Killer. I say that's a fantastic place to stop right now.
I mean, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I get my Christmas Lucha Libre Mesoamerican goddess, and it only took genociding fake Russia.
All right, so we're gonna leave on that note.
Yes, we are.
all it cost, all it
Unless you
cost
want to
was
talk about it.
all it cost was one Russia.
All it cost was one Russia full of
It
fairies.
cost one Russia, and it cost me stealing Anastasia and cucking the guy who wanted to take Anastasia, and now she wants my character in that game. But we'll leave on that.
What a great
Bye,
place to call it.
folks. Have fun deciphering what he's talking about.
A small
Yep.
percentage of people, when we actually upload this, will understand that. So